forgive me, I would like to bring explanation of industrialization. Industrialization literally means the setting up of industries in an area in a large scope. Industrialization contributes 5% of gross development policy of Africa, demanding more of our investment on it. According to the current status of Africa, pertaining industry, 5 countries such as Nigeria, Egypt, South Africa, Uganda, and Algeria have joined African Decade Industrial Development. In our very own hands, fellow Africans, not foreigners, will rest the final success or failure of our country. Since our nation began, each generation of Africans has been summoned to give testimony to its national loyalty. Now the trumpet summons us again. Not a call to a battle in ancient time, though a fact embattled we are, but a call to give ultimate redress to Africa's overdue problems through industrialization. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being summoned in our very own heart, fellow Africans, not foreigners, to rest the success or the destruction of our continent. I don't know whether you are against development or for development, because for sure Compassion International is contingent upon the aid that is sent to Uganda. Now those are sovereign questions you need to ponder. While you ponder, I'd like to invite questions from the audience. Who are these gentlemen? The Executive Director of Compassion International Uganda. Please come forward. Let's clap for that wonderful Uganda who's brave enough to ask this big gentleman here. Yes, please.
Thank you so much. My name is Okech Moses from Golo. I have one question which goes to the Honorable who has just spoken. What has Compassion done in the development of African countries? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Compassion has brought more improvement on the people's standards of living through the way that has led to most roads are also built by Compassion. Schools are built by Compassion, so that we are in schools. I know we are in schools right now. We are about to go back, and Compassion has done it.
Thank you, sir. You have many words to answer a simple question. That means you really have content. But your content, I don't know what the Minister of Health thinks about. She's so antagonistic about your case. Madam, please come and check his sobriety. Let's clap for the Minister of Health. She's not contented with the National Director of Compassion. It's all yours. Please ask him what you feel. You need to know.
Thank you for the opportunity. Honorable, you are talking of industrialization, but it seems like you're not aware what industrialization means, because it was the last thing for you to give. Maybe you had someone whispering. You are talking of Compassion as built roads. Please give me an example of the road that Compassion has built.
You are one of the Compassion guys here. So,
which employment opportunities have industrialization brought to Africa? Will you think that we put a blind eye to see the effects of industrialization?
Pause now, People.
Prove how industrialization has really developed Africa, like Dubai, where I come from.
The revenue, the tax has been used for construction of roads.
Could you please tell me which industry can produce products minus raw materials got from the environment that is conserved? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give that a big hand. Big hand, big hand. Every man is scrutinized. You don't just come here and speak and go, but we need to know. I don't know whether the National Director of Compassion is aware that the Minister of Health is not a compassion product. You know, and I don't know really whether Lady Mugisha is a Dubai name. So those are things we need to ponder as we progress in this case. I don't know whether it was a blatant mendacity you were speaking here or it was a truth. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give her a big round of applause. For indeed, we are getting educated in this concept of environmental conservation. This is an industrialization. Wow. Once again, welcome to this summit. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the Minister of Education and Sports, also honorable as the First Lady, Honorable Jane Netkataha Museveni. Very people to indeed. Let's give her a big hand as she comes to give her case pertaining this concept, this subject of industrialization, vis-a-vis environmental. This lady, ladies and gentlemen, with her husband, have ruled this country. And for sure you see, there is peace. Many things came to shake us, but they stood. And for sure, we are still standing. Lady, what do you have for us? The floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Here we are, dignitaries of the world, gathered to discuss about environment versus industrialization. Africa should conserve the environment in order for us to develop and strengthen. Africa, a continent of 56 countries, whereby Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, is also part, should develop, should conserve, that is to maintain the already existing resources for development, that is for growth. And our environment is the biotic and the abiotic components that surround us. Let it be clear as light that strengthening industrialization is of trivial importance, and much more clearer that the fully conserved environment of Africa is fully sustaining and it is upholding the ecosystem and in a symbiotic manner and in a healthy manner. Therefore, this issue is paramount and not just primary. The previous speaker spoke about industrialization providing employment opportunities and improving on the standards of living. Let me educate us. We are not blind about the effects of industrialization. The over-exploitation of workers that we are facing, the high levels of mutations due to pollution that are occurring in the world. Should we be blind about that? Can that develop one nation? A healthy nation is a good one, but an unhealthy nation is a dead one. To build on what Honorable Ruth Acheng said about modifying the climate, let it come to our notice that 70% of the people in the world, mostly in industrialized countries, Japan, Germany, and India, are experiencing climate change. Let us not forget that agriculture is the backbone of Africa. Africa should conserve the environment in order for us to improve on the water quality. We are going to do this through recycling, reuse, and also conducting this all over the country. Me as the Minister of Education and Sports, I'm going to champion this all over the schools, whereby we are going to conduct championships and debate to educate people about conservation. And after this, we are going to embark on cleaning plastics. It has come into our notice that 90% of the plastics in the country do not reach the recycling centers. And these plastics are congested in the water bodies, for example, in Lake Victoria. This has reduced the infiltration of the light into the waters, and it has reduced the aeration in the water, whereby now the biodiversity in the aquatic environment is reducing, and even the fish in the water is reducing, and of which fishing is the people. Let us mind about the health of the people that we are leading. According to the UN Environmental Program, over 21 million people are subjected to pollution due to water. And also, according to the UN Environment Program, more than 2 billion tons of the waste are dumped into the water bodies. Is that really sensible? How sure are we that the incoming industries are going to improve on the water quality and not going to harm the people that we are leading? Let us not be selfish. To add on that, we should conserve the environment, that is our surrounding, in order for us to improve on the health. According to the Caribbean Environment Program, it has come into research that the level of heavy metals in the water is increasing, mercury in the water is increasing, silver, and it is affecting on the health. And even according to their research, it is proven that the diseases like cancer that are increasing, the deaths among people are all due to the effects of pollution in the water bodies. Let us mind about other things, like developing the life of our people. And as they are embarking on these diseases, putting a lot of resources in their health, wouldn't we have used those resources in building some other things other than embarking on health? Therefore now, I propose, and I repeat, I propose resettlement of people who are living around the lakes in order for us to improve on their health. And also I propose the cleaning of water bodies in order to reduce the chemical concentration. And as a result of this, it's going to be implemented by all the health organizations all over the world and their equivalents. This should be in a period of 5 years. This is really so important. The health of our people is so important. This will enable us to groom a healthy nation. This will enable us to groom vibrant people that are going to be able to come before us and develop our nation. In the mire of all this, I, Janet Kataham Seven, who truly loves her own and walks across the fields of broken Africa. In the moods of bitterness, pain, doubt, and despair, my heart cries out, how could a just God allow such a thing to happen? Nevertheless, our God still reigns. Africa was slain like our Lord Jesus Christ. But we have now resurrected in the prosperity of our Lord Jesus Christ, the prosperity of a sustainable environment, a healthy environment, a stable ecosystem, both in land, air, and our water. Therefore now, we should not accept to be slain again by this devil of industrialization. It beats my understanding. It's like all of us here, most of us, especially when the opposition side, are not really minding about the people we are leading. Thank you so much.
Wow, a big hand. She has facts, she has statistics, ladies and gentlemen, she has timelines, and she has environmental conservation. Lady, you are one word. Environmental conservation. She has spoken in the strongest terms, and for sure, we are getting challenged. Which way to go? Environmental conservation or industrialization? And I believe that questions well enough from the audience. Please come forward. Come forward. Precise and to the point, okay? Madam, you're welcome. We still need you here.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to ask Honorable Kataha Janet Museveni, what is Uganda's philosophy of education and how has it been fulfilled?
I, the Minister of Education and Sports, you have to have noticed that I'm the one in charge. And first of all, the philosophy of education, first of all, what is paramount is our environment and the lives of the people, imparting knowledge and to us. That's why we are talking about like conducting debates and so on, imparting knowledge of environmental conservation. What is paramount most? Environmental conservation and the people.
Thank you for that straightforward answer. Whatever you ask her, she bends toward environmental conservation. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand. Education can be secondary. But if education is to be primary, it should bend toward environmental conservation. She is environmental conservation. Nevertheless, the executive director of FIDA is not satisfied with your case. So I would like to invite her to come and check your case, the sobriety of your case. Let's clap for the executive director of FIDA as well, as she takes her inaugural platform through cross-examination of the First Lady. Council, you're most welcome. Conservation or environmental conservation for this microphone? I don't know what I should say.
Honorable, we talked of fishing. Fishing has been there since God created the world. As Africa developed,
That is why we are here to talk about the issues of developing Africa through aquatic life.
you are talking of recycling. Can it go with industrialization?
Recycling first. A healthy environment matters first.
What measures have you taken in that organization?
Equipping information, public
How
awareness.
has environmental conservation encouraged relationship in Africa?
Through the aquatic life we have maintained.
What is the achievement of
sport.
your implement over those years?
Pardon?
You don't know the answer.
Sorry.
It's a hot thing, it's a hot thing. This thing is hot. And she doesn't know the answer, you think? I'm not sure she has been answering questions. Alright, the big hand for that session. Come on. Madam Maria Nassali, a counsel, a lawyer by profession. You know, it's not easy to stay in an organization for many years, being a lady, with that steel in her. Madam, please come and give us your case. Let's clap for this wonderful lady. You're most welcome.
The skill and the sign of greatness is the desire to embrace new ideas, to stay relevant in this rapidly changing cosmos, regardless of our attachment to ancient pressures. Hard-headedness is the fundamental cause of sin. It is a sin that is all great religions and all. I cannot but conclude that anyone who negates industrialization for our I cannot but conclude that anyone who negates industrialization for our own black people's sake is merely hand-headed, doubly hand-headed, and sin is an enemy of progress. Ladies and gentlemen, for primarily our African sake, we should break the myth, renew and transform our shared conscience, and really embrace industrialization for development. Honorable talked of fishing, but fishing develops. Since God created the world, as fishing developed the world, I asked her, but for us, we are going to first treat our industrial waste before we dump them to the fish, so that we don't kill their fish. Honorable talked of recycling industries. Of recycling. Please, it matters with industrialization because we are going to soon enter into recycling of industries, of which it's going to be done within 5 years now. The reason as why I stand here is I want to solve the problems of industries, and that is reduced water quantity, of which those people are not utilizing in their way. And never to have salty water. Can we please help us with that water? Because it's now spoiling the environment. Can the industry please help us with that water so that we stay in the industry
you very much, Madam Council. What a proposal and what a time frame. 20 years for things to get implemented. I don't know whether by that time Jesus Christ will come back. And I don't know why industrialization. You know, I've been drinking soda through industrialization, and I was feeling so good in Uganda here. But I've also been drinking the air through environmental conservation. I know there are questions from the audience who are listening. Any question, just one question, precise, but please come forward, come forward, come forward, come forward. These are your own Ugandans who you empower, but they have resentments, perhaps. Yes, please.
Thank you for the opportunity granted. Honorable, you talked about treating industrial waste and everything. So how can we treat the air that comes from the industries? Because it's really causing pollution and it's causing cancer to the surrounding people or to the surrounding environment. Because when we have many people in the hospital that are sick of cancer, and that cancer comes from the bad air that comes from the industry. So how are you going to sort it out?
Honorable, I didn't talk about that. I am not sure of your talk. So,
Okay. Hey, please finish up.
okay. So we are going to do incarnation.
Eh?
I'm sorry.
Okay. If you're sorry, the Minister of Education and Sports is not sorry about that. Please come. As you prepare to answer what you're sorry about or what you're not sorry about, please, let's give this lady a big hand as she comes again on the floor. Yes, please.
How is environmental conservation a sin?
Environmental conservation is a sin because we are
How
trying
can
to
we
develop
recycle?
industrialization.
How can we recycle an industry?
We can recycle an industry by setting up
With high levels of corruption, how are you going to monitor the funds of conserving of industrialization?
We are going to have funds with our country.
Do you know high amounts of chlorine are harmful?
No.
How are you going to control this to the population?
We are going to do it
Tell us the status quo of industrialization in your country.
20%.
Your uninformed.
20% and 20 years of implementation. Wow, what a level of 20. Let's give that a big hand, come on. Wow, we are getting educated for sure, but we are getting inspired by these dignitaries. They have insights and have done research. Once again, welcome to the African Union Summits. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, if there is no one in charge of government business, a country is state still. Of recent, the incumbent president of Uganda took time to review his cabinet. And for sure, pivotal positions have been given ladies. And it's not by mistake that the pivotal position of Prime Minister, Premier, is a strong and formidable lady. Ladies and gentlemen, let's join our hands together as we usher in the Right Honorable Robina Nabanja, the Prime Minister of this nation. A big hand, a big hand, a big hand, Madam, you're most welcome.
In a nature's economy, the currency is not money, it is life. I need not to reiterate that any sane and discerning African leader, desirous of progress, should condemn and refuse these false prophets. The false prophets prophesying the false gospel of development through industrialization. Such people should not mingle with us. As long as Africa lasts, it can never be ignored that this idea of environmental conservation, mark me right, environmental conservation and not industrialization, has stood a test of time. It can never be ignored. Never, never. Why time endures, why heaven lasts, and why hell rocks and runs will it be ignored that this idea of environmental conservation by its mirror merit has boosted our ecosystems, and by boosting our ecosystems catapulted African nations to great heights of growth and development. Ladies and gentlemen, the current speaker industrialization. Fellow heads of state, to add on what my colleague, the Honorable Minister of Education, talked on water conservation, indeed, according to our research, 70% of the waters that we contain in Africa, out of 70% that the water that we contain in Africa, only 0.03 is fresh. Will it lead to our development? Ladies and gentlemen, how can we strengthen environmental conservation? We can strengthen environmental conservation by using biodegradable materials, for example, cotton bags. Do not use inorganic fertilizers made out of nitrogen, but rather let's embark on the usage of organic fertilizers, for example, compost manure. This is because using inorganic fertilizers alter the soil pH and thus leading to low productivity. And by leading to low productivity, it leads to high cost on household maintenance. It also leads to the death of soil-living organisms, which lowers aeration of the soil. Fellow heads of state, we can also strengthen environmental conservation by educating masses on the benefits of environmental conservation. For example, it leads to economic stability. The woods are the principal source of income for many men and women. Therefore, protecting the woods will result in many individuals retaining their market and livelihood. Important still, we can volunteer with environmental organizations and starting up our own initiatives. This inspires, encourages the masses to conserve the environment for our own development of Africa. I cannot but propose the minimal use of fertilizers and venomous chemicals, as well as abolishing the disposal of harmful industrial waste in the soil. This can be done in a 6 years' time by all African citizens with the help of all the heads of state. This will help Africa protect the land from degradation and hence our high productivity and development. This industrialization drive, years back and even now, is way back more worse than the worst degradation of our environment. It is a period when darkness looms, rains, and menaces unstoppable. Before I finish, I ask the judgment of these heinous perpetrators with whom some Africans here think alike with, be postponed until facts are in. Thank you for God and my country. Gratitude.
Thank you very, very much. Oh my goodness. I was listening and I was saying, oh my God, you really go for industrialization. But she said, this evil industrialization drive. This is a period when darkness looms. You know, she says when industrialization is there, darkness is looming. Wow. Let's give a big hand once again. The Premier of Uganda, for sure, the President of Uganda was not making a mistake when he was choosing you to steer these people to a job. Wow. Nevertheless, there are questions from the audience. They feel it is not darkness looming, it might be like this. Step forward, step forward.
Thank you. Honorable, you're conserving the environment. You want to recycle plastics. Where are you going to do it from?
We are working strengthening environmental conservation.
Thank you. Tell us the current status of the masses that are well informed about environmental conservation, because we still see the environment overwhelmed with misuse.
All Africans are informed.
Thank you. Your answers are precise. I don't want to waste any time. Wow. Thank you once again. Let's give a big hand. Let's give a big hand once again. Hold on. I think when I go to DBC, I really miss Uganda because of few water credits like this. uncoated men like this. Wow. Nevertheless, the Shadow Minister of Cooperatives and Microfinance, Honorable Anna Ebaju, is not satisfied with your case. Though you seem to cast darkness, or she seems to say it's light. Please, darkness versus light. Please come on and give us what pertains to darkness or what pertains to light. Because God also called light out of darkness. So where shall we call anything from?
Honorable, what is economic stability?
Economic stability is a current state of power.
How is it achieved by environmental conservation?
Of course, it provides money to all Africans.
Is fishing not environmental exploitation?
I did not talk about fishing.
You talked. There are some diseases such as bilharzia. Is it caused by chemicals?
We can find out ways of solving bilharzia problems, but let's concern on our development.
Answer yes or no. You are conserving the country, which is salty. Does it support fish?
But there are other ways that we can still conserve and support fishing.
Okay, before you sit down and with your thank you, please come on board again. Let's give up for this lady. You have answered her to full satisfaction, but she's still divergent on industrialization. She's bent to industrialization. Let's give it up for this wonderful lady, Honorable Anna Adeke Ebaju, the lady who answered, one of the biggest ladies in Soroti, and served that position as Woman MP. Madam, you must welcome. Thank you.
We can never attain freedom from anything, but always be slaves. Slaves to poverty, backwardness, unemployment, ignorance, foreign aid, standardless, and these are consequences in this regard if keep trivializing the polar aspect of industrialization. We all must and can work out our salvation from all this with courage, earnestness, steadiness, and break out from the standard shell. We shouldn't always be bound like a monkey in the zoo, even in this development drive. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all embrace this new age reason that Africa should industrialize themselves other than conserving the environment. Africa should industrialize because both sexes are to be given a chance to have authority, most especially women, who have been neglected in many organizations. This is to improve women's emancipation for values and responsibility. Women are always believed to be responsible and loyal in terms of finance, especially in cash inflow and outflow. And the ratio of women should be increased to help them attain their standards of living, hence development in Africa. So I propose that there should be sensitization to all citizens in Africa, and this should be done by all the responsible. I propose sensitization to all citizens in Africa, and this should be done by all responsible people, headed by international organizations in 5 years' time to come. Fellow brethren, in the desire and patriotic zeal of seeing Africa shine brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter in growth and development of all the spheres of life, let us give up fully the mentality of environmental development, the environmental conservation with all its ungrounded bases, and embrace this tactic industrialization. Thank you.
Wow, let us give up fully all the attachments of environmental conservation and embrace fully this grand tactic, industrialization. Embrace fully. My goodness. She doesn't have gray areas. She is for industrialization. Madam, if I'm to name you an industry, I'd call it Mukwano. Let's give her a big hand again once again. Nevertheless, questions are waiting from the audience. Please, sir, come. Be precise and to the point.
Mr. Honorable, you're talking about employing women. Why is it that when a woman or men are looking for a job, they first abuse their rights before giving them the job? How are you going to improve on abusing of women's rights?
Of course, we shall encourage women empowerment in all organizations of work.
Thank you for that precise response. Yes, the Premier also as well. She has well-made questions for you.
Thank you for this great opportunity. Honorable, you know the current Minister of Water and Environment in your country?
Yes,
What is your name?
I'll tell you.
What is the status quo of industrialization in your country? With all the heavy metals and industries, how do you go to employment industries? How can we save our precious Africa from degradation when we embark on industrialization?
We can improve on tourism.
And what happens if everyone in Africa stops recycling?
Nothing can happen. Because we shall.
I'm telling you, in Africa, when it is clash, expect fire. And for sure, there is fire here. There is fire. Thank God they are separated and not in one seat. What questions and answers to case. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, which way? Industrialization or environmental conservation is the big question. Ladies and gentlemen, let's join our hands together as we invite the State Minister for Water and Environment, Honorable Beatrice Anwar. Let's give it up for that lady. Let's give it up for that lady. You don't know what she did for us. What she did for your country one time, I was almost cut, but she stood her ground. And for sure, we are having good care because of her. Thank you, Madam. The floor is yours.
In the midst of a crisis, it is natural for a man to enlarge the phases of war. But now in this economic crisis, success is the strengthening of industrialization. Really, the hope is this false hope is shattering our eyes, fellow Africans, shattering our eyes from the painful truth, and making us hearken to the beckoning minds of voice of desire until we are in prison. Is this really we, the Africans of reputable ancient wisdom, engaged in the great stewardship of God's creation and other struggle to preserve it? Isn't a bunch of us having eyes yet seen or having ears yet seen, yet hear not the things that concern our salvation, the things that concern the salvation of our ecosystems and our prosperity in general? For me as the Minister of Water and Environment, Beatrice Anwar, whatever arms of the Spirit it may look like, I'm willing to tell the truth of the fact that Africa should strengthen environmental conservation for development. The current speaker, you talk that women are neglected in odd jobs, but let me clarify to you that in environmental conservation, we have surveyors, objectives for this proposal would have already been achieved. And in the end, health is restored and preserved while natural norms are upheld for the betterment of our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, my heart beats for Africa. Let us prepare ourselves from the ravages of industrialization, just as rain repairs the spoils of the dry season, instead of opening old wounds through the industrialization madness. My heart beats for Africa. Let us consolidate ourselves. Let us consolidate ourselves to deliberate and pertinent environmental conservation disciplines in this development campaign. My heart beats for Africa. Let us guard our environmental self in this hour when health is sickness, pollution is purification, when wisdom is ignorance, when the strongest clatter dust and soul for support. My heart beats for Africa. Let us prosper, promote, strengthen, gather together and guard our great and mighty God-given natural ornaments from the industrialization force problems.
Thank you. A big hand, her heart bleeds. Indeed bleeds. And indeed bleeds for Africa when health is sickness. Pollution is purification. As many semantics to demystify to us that, hey, let us go and plant trees. Let us embrace nothing but environmental conservation. What a speech, and what a speech indeed. Madam, your semantics are not just semantics, but they are heartfelt indeed. And in fact, your heart indeed bleeds for Africa and bleeds for us all. Nevertheless, there are questions from the audience. One question, one straight question, precise. And with the point, madam, please come back again. Come back again for one question here.
Thank you. Now, a Minister of Water and Environmental Conservation, you are cutting down Mabira Forest. What actions have you taken to stop the act?
Of course, that's why I'm saying we should strengthen on environmental conservation and industrialization.
What actions have you taken to stop the act?
Don't mind that. Don't mind about that.
You shouldn't mind about that because you're ready to go. Wow. Wow. You're a tough lady. And for sure, you are not there for nothing. You fought for your job. Yeah. Yeah. Let's give you a big hand. Nevertheless, please come back again because Madam Sarah Birete of Center for Constitutional Governance is also not satisfied with your case. Let's give her a big hand as Madam Sarah Birete comes on the floor to check on the lady of Mabira, Mrs. Mabira. This student is, by the way, we call antagonistic. She was fully through an opposition, but shortly, because she fought her way through, she was embraced into the ruling government. Madam Sarah Birete, how are you? She's all yours.
Honorable, water weeks are in the quick area. Is it industrialization causing it?
Of course, it is.
Disagree. You are limiting firewood usage. Can everyone afford solar? Really?
Of course, we can.
Your Minister of Water, what is the day of water in your country?
28 July.
And what is the achievement of water implementers over those years?
Madam,
What measures have you taken in that organization?
I've taken 30 minutes to plan this.
Do you mean when industries have been they not give shelter?
They do give back, but this debate is not a policy debate, and we should abolish industrialization. It's to strengthen environmental growth, not to abolish industrialization.
Madam, your tone is not a joking one. As you can feel it. And for sure, I think there was intimidation. I don't know from whom. Madam Sarah Birete, please take on the floor. I know you have resentments, you can bring them in your case. Let's give this lady a big hand, a big hand, a big hand. Human rights are bending back the right course. Democracy is bending back the right course. Elections are getting more democratic because of this wonderful lady. Give her a big hand, Madam. You most welcome.
Stop dancing in this confusing music of madness. Resisting industrialization under the pocket of development is a flaw and the already established national system. They had anti-defeat status and the general sovereignty of our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa should instead strengthen industrialization because it's the only way we can progress in this nation. What the current speaker said, that when they conserve the environment, there is growth, but I'm not seeing any growth when things are just idle, the environment is just idle, damaged infrastructures. Can you guys see pushy places? There are no employment. So I disagree with what you say. Let's improve industrialization through technology by setting up training institutions which require machines for us to simplify our work. I have some of the benefits here for industrialization works. Industrialization should be strengthened to create space for settlement in our countries. Africa should strengthen industrialization to destroy pushy places that harbor dangerous animals like lions, snakes, leopards. Industries help us to attract potential foreign investors to invest in, leading to the flow of income and generation of wealth. I propose the training of African citizens to benefit the industries in Africa, implemented by the African presidents in 6 years' time. Finally, fellow Africans, as I conclude, with a pure conscience, our only reward. With the history, the final judge of our works, let us go forth and industrialize 3 times our land, knowing that here on earth, that our works must truly be God's own work. Thank you.
A big hand. Let us go forth and industrialize, knowing truly that our works is God's own work. Thank you for that wise deliberation. Give her a big hand. And it's one antagonistic that she's always a critic of the ruling party. But she's a lady. What a coincidence. And what an antithesis. Let's give her a big hand once again. Questions from the audience, please. No one wants to ask our questions because they are satisfied. Nevertheless, a noir is not satisfied. Beatrice a noir. You're not satisfied. Please step forward. She's not satisfied with your case. Are you ready for her?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, let us see.
What do you think the future of Africa will be from? You can research on that. How can you measure national factor and interpret such a measure into GDP to develop Africa? Let's go and research.
is the GDP of your nation, please, you will need to answer that, especially in your tea break or lunch break. Because even as you still want to know the GDP that industrialization has brought forward. Ladies and gentlemen, the clash of bullies has caused an uproar. And for sure, we are getting edified, some of us are getting more convicted. Wow, what a session. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a neighboring country called Rwanda. And Rwanda, for sure, is one of the countries of East Africa. Not just East Africa, but East African Cooperation. And it's not by coincidence that we are joined by one of the longest-serving presidents of this country, His Excellency Paul Kagame. Let's give him a big hand. A big, big hand, ladies and gentlemen. This man was in Uganda, a great friend to our incumbent President Yoweri Museveni, and a Pan-Africanist as well. Sir, you most welcome.
Industrialization present to us that the equally peaceful active of modernity. Why? Because the crucial natural operation lies in their wings and our lives are forever in their need. If industrialization was a proponent of progress, Africa would be the richest and most developed continent in the world. Because we have tested this in terrorism, construction, academia, quantum physics, wars, name it. We all ought to see the best reality of this. Whether strengthening industrialization can develop Africa or not. Industrialization so far has done so great. So great that it has pushed Africa to the turbid pools of underdevelopment. Ladies and gentlemen in the House, Africa should strengthen environmental conservation if we want to see prosperity and posterity of our nation. The Brigadier Speaker came and spoke like a stranger. She said, without industrialization, there is no employment. For sure, that is a total lie. We have game rangers who are preserving and keeping the animals in the game parks. Is that not employment? It is something we need to talk with sense. This is the things we are to consider. Don't come and speak like you're preaching. Employment is provided even when we are conserving the environment. My colleague, the Minister of Environment, came and said we can conserve the environment by using non-renewable sources. These resources include fossil fuels. We all know what fossil fuels are. Fossil fuels can release gases like sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide, these gases are acidic gases. When they are released to the atmosphere, they lead to global warming because they obstruct the reflected light by the earth from crossing the atmosphere. When global warming occurs, we all know that much heat can also destroy our environment. It can lead to drought. There is no agriculture that can take place in a place where there is no rain. We need to be concerned about that. Africa should strengthen environmental conservation if we want to see prosperity and prosperity of our nation. Strengthening environmental conservation is done in many ways. One, engage in community cleanup activities. Like for me in Rwanda, we have established an association called Pima Uganda. This association cleans the country every Saturday. That is why Rwanda is the most cleanest country in the whole of East Africa. When we clean our communities, even our health status will improve. There is no health person for living in that place. Compare yourselves. How can a health person be able to live and stay in a country? Is it possible for a person to live in another place? Let's conserve our environment and conserve the health of our people and conserve Africa if we want development. I therefore cannot but propose replanting of trees in the whole of Africa by the implementation of African Forest Forum in a time of 2 years. This will benefit us and help us to modify the climate of Africa. Because Africa is now place, its percentage of desert is increasing. Let's modify Africa, let's increase agriculture. One, unity and patriotism.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. A big hand, a big hand. And one of the things they are saying that if industrialization was a problem of development, Africa will be the richest because we have already tasted it in construction and terrorism. Wow. We have spoken, and I believe some of you heard it. I have questions also waiting from the audience. Please, there is one Ugandan who was habitual in asking questions. I need to take you to BBC. How do you see that? So that you know, I like your speech. Let's give it up for this Uganda. Let's give it up for this Uganda.
Thank you. Honorable His Excellency Paul Kagame, I would like to ask you 2 questions, only 2. One is that you talked about game parks and game renters. Are they not part of the industry? Are they not industries?
Any industry called the game park.
We don't have to focus on the manufacturing industry. We talk about, we have categorized all in as what? Industry. You get it? Then the next question is that we talked about constructions. Why is it that most people or most honorables, they don't complain when roads are good, but when roads are bad, they complain and they run to the construction companies to repair them. So one day maybe
they don't complain because they want those roads to be clean and safe for them to ease their ways of conserving the environment, to ease their movement. In other than they conserve the environment easily.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I love your voice, even when things are hot and so composed. He's the president of Rwanda. He's the tallest president in Africa, by the way. But his son is taller than him. What a president this man is. So when you think you've reached him, he has taller things, taller than him. And one of the tallest things he has is what? Is it industrialization or environmental conservation?
Environmental conservation.
Environmental conservation. What a Pan-Africanist. Before you take your seat, sir, all the way from Tunisia, Kais Saied, the president of one of the Maghreb countries in Africa, is not contented with whatever he said. So he is here. Let's give it up for this president. All the way from Tunisia.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Mister, you talked of employment opportunities, but you said one. Give us more. Industrialization industrialization removed dust of recent, but cholera was here. Talk about it.
More employment.
What percentage of people are used to do cleanups?
What?
I was thinking.
Hey, let me hand. He asks, and gives one for answering. I think you're already premeditated and that's not the answer. But maybe he knows. In your free time, you guys will share. Thank you, sir. This is the president of Tunisia. He's all the way from Tunisia. And he has come to...
All the way from Tunisia, you know.
Okay.
It's a very good country.
Yes.
There is industrialization, that's why you see the students are wearing it.
Okay.
Oh! Thank you very much.
You're
For the opportunity of granting. Now people on earth have more cause of gratefulness than us of African continents. I say this relevantly in no spirit of naivety and forcefulness of our strengths. With gratitude to the giver of God who blessed us with this idea of strengthening industrialization, which has enabled us to achieve so large measure of riches and prosperity in all sectors. Industrialization, non-environmental conservation has given us much and much is still expected from such. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa should strengthen industrialization for the development of African nations. Are you not happy? Actually, honorables, do you understand that do you understand now? There is what is called reduced water quality. For example, salt water which kills fish and not at all good for human consumption. Why don't you give us that water we use in industries and we develop? What is the use of that water? Also increasing population of people that we chose in order to earn money to sustain life. Definitely this will lead to land fragmentation. Why don't we construct industries that create job opportunities for these people? We should develop domestic services by improving regulatory frameworks. Domestic services like healthcare, which improves people's health, leading to development. Guys, are you not happy? Talk about countries like Congo. There is political instability throughout due to these forests conserved and also tropical disease. There is brain drain in Africa due to this wrong idea of environmental conservation. How can you expect someone who is done with S6 to come and conserve the environment to earn a living? It looks something very stupid. For sure, someone goes to USA and gets a job in a place where it's industrialized, gets a good money. Why don't we employ our own people from Africa and we see development? Here are some of the benefits we have ascertained from industrialization brought by industries. Manufacturing industries provide employment opportunities and reduces unemployment. For example, Kakra sugar industries in Jinja. Who doesn't know that? I want to pay money for all of you to another place. Manufacturing industries have led to reduction in the amount of money spent in buying manufactured goods from other countries, thus saving countries from their revenue. That revenue will be used for developing our country. Why do we waste it outside? Then we can construct industries that can develop, that can make the things that we import. Guys, welcome. Manufacturing industries have facilitated the development of several infrastructures like roads and communication. Roads we can categorize under transport. I propose that finance and tax holders should be given to industries for development by ministries of finance and national revenue authority all over Africa in 5 years' time. Honorable ladies and gentlemen, our legacy is not judged By the trees we have planted, wild snakes and the baboons we have conserved. But on the decisions of better life and the livelihood of the people we serve, actually, therefore let us choose wisely by refusing environmental conservation, no matter over industrialization, no matter what. Thank you. I wish you all the best.
Thank you. This man has one style of talking. A big hand. A freelancer. He talks the way he feels. That our legacy will not be judged by the baboons who have conserved and the trees and whatsoever, but on wise choosing of environmental conservation, which gives employment, which gives you a better life. What a speech, sir. All the way from Tunisia. Exactly. Eh? All right. Questions to this gentleman? Okay. No questions. I think they have feared you because you're going to give them a tour for free. Yes. So they don't want to lose the mark. Nevertheless, the president of Rwanda is not satisfied with your case. And he's coming here right away. Are you ready for him?
I'm ready for the guy.
Oh, for the guy. Okay.
How can we save Africa from air pollution together with its associated effects?
We shall stop using resources that bring fuels, that cause fuels that will spoil the ozone.
There is any industry that has machines capable to use salty water from proper function.
We have industries, you see, with machines like many machines that can use
How are domestic services related to strengthening of industrialization in Africa?
Actually, you need to get more research.
How has Tunisia addressed the overwhelming heat of Sahara Desert?
There is irrigation in Tunisia.
Why did Tunisia sign the Paris Agreement on environmental conservation?
Actually, by that time I was not on power.
To what extent will industrialization improve with the fixed solidness available?
That provides
Thank you. Wise questions and wise answers. Wow, what a session. This is the African Union Summit, fellow Ugandans, and thank you really for coming and being there with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the President of Kenya, His Excellency William Ruto. Let's give him a big hand. A big hand. A formidable president of East Africa. A man at the forefront of development of not only Kenya, but Africa as a whole. Let's give him a big, big hand, ladies and gentlemen. You don't know the background he has fought, the life he went through, and for sure, he's an inspiration to this continent. So he was welcome.
Oh, I'm really seeing the fingers inside the house. Ladies and gentlemen, inside the house, I'm shedding tears that come from unwashed because of this so-called evil of industrialization. We have been blindfolded for so many years that industrialization will make us feel that we are in the ninth cloud. These are not only my aspirations, I am a herald of many Africans out there. The voice crying out to the preservation and betterment of our nations. My tears vehemently defy these false realities. The mooted hope of a successful industrialized Africa. Time has tested this. Industrialization is too consequently grievous to be embraced. Times when African leaders become not only partners with each other but also commended makes us realize that the intended industrialization of Africa, as confronted by they themselves, shall definitely be a formidable vicious tool for tyranny and preserving of our environment and Africa. Honorable Adeke talked about exploitation of women in Africa. Probably, which African outside there does not know that women are only exploited in those industrial sectors of theirs. As you find when you take a trip, like in Kenya, when you come to the camps, it's a manufacturing organization. One time I paid a visit. As I entered inside, my legs felt warm. Why? I got a woman, she was meant to carry what she was not supposed to. When we conserve our environment, these women will be given jobs that don't defy their rights. Africans inside the house, I don't want you to be covered by the Dubai Africans, the pro-Arabs. They are not from Africa. Like the National Director of Compassion, he doesn't care of Africa because he comes from Dubai. The problem as to why I cannot give a hand to supporting industrialization is this. They talk that industrialization is like a key that starts your car for the journey set for us. But no, industrialization is like a road covered by potholes. Because if you want to set an industry, the IMF has to instruct you to borrow funds to set up this industry. Is this what we have to do as Africa? Does this lead us into development? Because first, when you set up this industry, the first products you process, you're going to sell them to pay the loans. For me, as William Ruto, I never allow the leaders to do. Madam Honorable Minister, I'm going to talk about Katwe. Katwe is a salt lake. And so, if we allow these industries to dump their industrial waste into these salt lakes, then Uganda, Africa will never get salt to supplement their diet. As you know, for me, like in the East Africa, I am the king of supplying salt because of reserve event Magad. Are you not happy because today you're surviving because of me? Why don't you implement on this? Honorable Paul Kakame, the tallest president, told me that if $1 big like me plant trees, that's why today you're seeing that Ruto is as tall as him. Because he instructed me to tell my fellow Kenyans that volunteer in cleanups. That is why, if you really know, Kenya managed to win a sponsorship deal with Rwanda managed to win a sponsorship deal with ASEAN. A club from the UK. So me as Kenyan, I would want to be like Paul Kagame. I don't know whether our Lord, the King who is in heaven, will be happy when we talk about this evil called industrialization that my friends are covering. To strengthen the environment, we have to shop local or shop organic materials. If you have the chance of buying fresh food, it's a great way to support local farmers and reduce the carbon footprint caused by processed industrial food. Thus, we shall encourage development of our fellow farmers. Tell me how we shall not develop. Then we need to record the wildlife near you. This provides vital information which helps the conversion to protect the environment, thus boosting the tourism sector. And we shall promote our bilateral relationships with other countries. Then, if you want to improve on agriculture and the food production, so that even these guys who claim to survive by industry survive, keep your gardens, open space, chemical free. Cut down on your use of herbicides and pesticides. These chemicals kill butterflies, moths, and other pollinating insects such as ladybugs, beetles, and spiders, which are natural enemies of your garden pests. Do you still want to harm garden pests? No. For me in Kenya, 75% of my economy, 75% of my revenue, 75% of my development is through agriculture. And why are you telling me I should not develop? Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot propose banning of plastics, chemicals, and all inorganic materials. It should be done through the help of all parliaments across Africa. Ministries responsible for environmental conservation, they should be done across all African countries. Documentation and policy making will take a year, and so in 10 years we shall achieve this. If
If we manage to do this, we shall improve on the food production of our countries. We shall develop automatically. Then we shall also improve on the development of our infrastructures like roads for travel. Then we shall reduce the levels of carbon dioxide in the air cycle, improve on the quality of our soil. Then we shall stabilize the rise and fall of temperatures in our continent. If we are to uphold the industrialization of Africa, we did not only fight for our independence in vain, but we have also observed the monstrous lying vanity of the rhetoric proportion of this time, of this thing today, forsaking our peace and solid, and the cause will be on the innocent future generations. Do you want to see the children suffer just like the way we have suffered? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let's give this man a big hand. A big hand. Wow, facts upon facts, concepts upon concepts, analogies upon analogies. Oh my goodness, what a rich content he has given us today in this African Union Summit. Sir, I need to visit your country for more. And for sure, you're given tax holidays, you bring what? For environmental conservation activists. Let's give them another round of applause. A big hand of applause. Nevertheless, sir, please come on the stage once more. There could be questions from the audience. Just one straightforward question, a precise question to the President of Kenya.
Yeah, the President of Kenya, William Ruto. I have two questions, by the way. You can ask. Now, Kenya has developed, right? I think Kenya is developed, right? Now, is it through industries or through environmental conservation?
My brother, if I fail to conserve the environment, then you will never see any industry in Kenya.
Now, which provision in African Constitution is responsible for environmental conservation? If there, educate us, please.
Yes. Now, in the African Union, there is an article called Article 7. It's responsible for environmental conservation, my brother.
Okay.
So you have to learn about it.
Okay. But don't please stay on because the chief president of Ethiopia, Saleh Zeudi, is not satisfied with your case. And for sure she has contentions. Let's give her a big hand, She is a Catholic by proven repute and also a Pan-Africanist. It's all yours.
Thank you. Honorable, I'm first commenting you. It's not allowed to see the honorable with the right hand. Honorable, you are talking things concerning Dubai. Is Dubai under Africa?
Are you paying attention? When I talk about Dubai, or your fellow colleague failed to know his best.
But costs such as thrift are happening in forest. Is that not exploitation? Mister, on 20 November 2021, you signed agreement of improving industrialization. Are you confused?
I have never penned down an agreement for industrialization.
Do you have events to prove women are exploited?
I walk to the industries.
Honorable, is the salty extracted from Lake Asuret?
As you know, I am not a Uganda. Uganda should answer you. I extract my own salt from my body, and that is the one I supply to your country, Ethiopia.
Honorable, sit, you are confused already.
Thank you. He's confused. And he seems to be sober. I don't know about the judgment of the masses. Is he confused or sober? He's sober. If he's still confused, you can give us why he's confused. Let's give a big hand to the only female president in this African Union Summit. Sale Waxiode, all the way from Ethiopia. And by the way, Ethiopia is a country which is 7 years below in terms of, for us we're in 2022. they are 7 years below, and they celebrate Christmas and different. Everything about them is 7 years below. Please come.
Thank you. To think that Abang Africa would negate this great internalization idea, different reasons. I would run stupid, imagine a monative and let me stand and these people know very little about industrialization. The reason for this is they see with blind eyes, hear with deaf ears, understand with mad minds, and consequently rest under a facet of environment conserving, pivoted by vain fear for an industrialization. African community version that it is virtually perfect to limit and impede quick universal African progress. It is less than the sinister fear of the internalization and antagonism are eventually events corrupting the minds of African heads of states in every sense. For hundreds of years now, and it is a fact of history. Development of e-commerce means lines purchasing and selling of products. Industries are a source of government revenue used for developing a country. E.g., for example, constructing roads. African states must soon pass in the most peaceful bills they will ever pass that will propel them to equal development and prosperity. This business is not just the extent of a few factories here and there, neither is it just many of precious minerals in the apego, but the stronger industrialization of the economy. Thank you.
Let's give this lady a big hand. Big hand, a big hand. Madam, I love your accents. Let's give her a big hand for her accent. She speaks in tongues sometimes when she's demystifying mysteries. Let's give her a big hand. She has spoken the strongest terms and she has delivered us. The only female president. Madam, what is the secret of being a female president of the country? Firstly, if you could answer me. How is being a female president of the country? How is being a female president of the country? Is it easy to be a woman and president?
It's very easy.
It is very easy.
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 Very.
Wow, a big hand. Nevertheless, even that is, questions are waiting from the audience. Any question to the only female president in the House? And if there are no questions immediately, I would like to invite His Excellency William Samoei Ruto to come and ask you a few questions. It may even concern the needs of being a female president of the country like that.
Wow. The only female president. Why is Ethiopia adopting a plan to be climatically neutral by the year 2025?
President, you're confused.
What are you doing to stop the rising greenhouse gas emissions in Ethiopia?
Those days I was not in power, but now I'll be in power, I will stop it.
Why did Ethiopia participate in the signing of the Paris Agreement on environmental change?
President,
what is the status of manufacturing industries in Ethiopia? What are you doing to address the problem of the weak linkages of industrial sector with Ethiopia's local economy?
President, we address it well. You see this parliament
You
today,
are
people
aware.
are using excess water from here.
You
I
are
know
aware
I came
that
from
it
Ethiopia.
involves
You
you.
see this parliament cool, but the parliament is not cool. People are sweating. I can give you an example, but President, you are really killing the people of Africa.
You are aware that it is called
President of Africa, wake up and see light.
Thank you. That's why she's the president of Ethiopia. She doesn't back up. Backing down for what? She will fight to her name to stay on top. Wow, what a big hand. Ladies and gentlemen, the problem of African countries is that they want to overstay in power. Living in 2015, he has spoken many prophecies. Some of them have come to pass, some have not come to pass. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the longest serving presidents of Africa. And ladies and gentlemen, the host president in this African Union Summit, His Excellency, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Let's give him a standing ovation because he's the host president. As we usher him in to come and give us his case. Can you please give him a standing ovation as he comes up? The President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Sir, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Some of us here might be wondering that why has Museveni taken so many years in government? I'm here because I want to ensure that we put Africa forward. Because my motto is secure your future. And there's no way we can secure our future without environmental conservation. African nations can survive poverty, diseases, pressures, political unrest, and even their foods, but they cannot survive environmental degradation, surnamed industrialization, especially in this current climate crisis. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand here to affirm the motion African nations must conserve the environment for development. Africa can strengthen environmental conservation by ensuring that we practice commercial farming. Commercial farming is in two ways. We can practice small-scale farming, large-scale farming, and move away from substational farming, which is making us to lag behind. You see a country like Ghana. Ghana has developed because of cocoa growing. Another example, relevant example, you can see a country like Nigeria. The countries have moved ahead because Nigeria is practicing oil palm growing. So the people of Africa, all the countries of Africa, what are we doing? So these countries, since they are practicing commercial farming, we see that they export most of their products outside and generate foreign exchange. And that's what we want in this situation where wealth has turned to be poverty, wisdom has turned to be ignorance, and purification has turned to be pollution. The second thing we can do as heads of state is to ensure that we sensitize the youth through the seminars. We form public outreach services where these youths are educated on the consequences of environmental conservation. We can mobilize the youth and teach them the medicinal value of planting trees. We can teach them or the employment they can get when they get to work in these places. We can see like Burundi. Burundi is a country which has engaged the youth in a tree planting program. And for that reason, we see Burundi as change. Another thing we can do, we can volunteer for cleanups. Dear members, our environment has been affected by the fumes, the poison bags, and so many things that the industries produce. So for us to claim our land and put our land into use is by us teach the community, is by us practicing afforestation. By so doing this, we shall be building a beautiful scenery which attracts the outsiders to come to our country, and when they come, they will leave us with something for development, and that's the revenue. I propose the gazetting of the game parks. I propose the conservation of water bodies. I also propose the planting of trees in our environment. And this is going to be implemented by UNEMA all over African continent in 10 years to come. And we shall be able to improve on tourism, employment, and even growth. Proponents of Doom insist that environmental degradation is the way. I assert environmental conservation is a better, stronger, and wiser idea. Absent of the interventions, the only way Africa can develop is to slow away all the attachments of industrialization. Come together, preserve and conserve the environment. Thank you very much for God and my country.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Let's throw away all the attachments to industrialization. He has spoken, and for sure, he has some language command. He speaks, and when he speaks, the whole world stops. Listen, sir, you have spoken the strongest terms for environmental conservation. Let's give Mr. Museveni, the incumbent president of Uganda, the soon president of the United States of Africa, the forerunner of the East African community. Oh my goodness, he has many titles. Let's give him a big hand, a big hand of applause. Wow. Questions from the audience? Please.